Hey, and welcome to I Guess, a show where I hate everything until someone convinces me otherwise. I'm Lex Basile Price, and this French macaron tea I have is not as sweet as you think it would be, but definitely is assaulting my nose with a macaron aroma. With us today is the beautiful and hilarious Alyssa Simmons. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. I am a little peek behind the curtain for the guests. Alyssa and I went to high school together.
Woo!
So
Just
that
a couple
was
years ago.
yeah, just a little bit. So, how are you wrong today, Alyssa?
How am I wrong today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, where to start? Honestly, I have been babysitting. That has
Okay.
been my my temporary work. I'm grateful for the work, but I absolutely it's got to go.
I know nothing about working with children. I haven't been doing it for over a decade.
Honestly, I usually really don't mind it, but I've had today actually the kids that I had were excellent, but sometimes they're a little, what's the politically correct way for me to put this?
Assholes?
They are that is the politically correct way to put it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just tough. I mean, I had a couple days ago, so it's just kind of carried on, but we're getting over it.
You're getting there.
Surely. This kid just, wanted to test boundaries with me. And so it was a lot of like, you're mean. I hate you. You're mean and I hate you. And I was like, well, honestly, the feeling is absolutely mutual.
I have definitely said that exact thing to a child before.
Honestly, you're mean and I hate you too. So I guess we're in good company.
Yeah, I think I had I don't like you. And I said, well, I don't like kids that don't listen. So
guess we're the same.
Yeah.
But honestly, other than that, I don't think that there's much wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are you here to convince me of then? If you're not wrong.
If I'm not wrong, here's really what I'm here to convince you of. And I'm going to start off by saying I don't know that I'm going to succeed at all by what I'm going to say, but I'm going to try.
That's
the whole point of the whole point of the thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I am here to convince you today to train and run a marathon.
Okay, now I understand why you
now you understand that leeway. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, dear listeners, know that I used to have a thing where once a year I would not be able to sleep, and so I would just run at like 4:00 in the morning.
Okay, just get up and
run for probably 2 hours, and then get home and crash for the day.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you've not been
training, doing anything. And it became a running joke in my family of my annual running tradition.
Just your once a year thing.
So
well then maybe I can convince you to do a once a year thing that has a little bit of lead up. Okay. So I will start by saying I am not what you consider a natural runner. So I'm here to to put people at ease. Like I don't have a quote unquote runner's body.
Okay.
I don't have naturally the type of instrument that would allow someone to be
that
a runner.
long
leggy, just no. I am I'm not short, but I'm dense. No. I'm a dense person.
Yeah. We are set people.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna knock us down.
Yeah. Sturdy.
We're sturdy. Exactly. So I was in a show. This was now, gosh, it's been a decade. So I was in a show and a friend of mine was like, hey, do you want to go running? And I said, absolutely not. That sounds terrible.
Was this in New York or in LA?
In LA.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing the Frozen musical.
The only thing worse a person in LA can say to you is, would you like to go for a hike? So
sure. So second place, would you like to go for a
running? Yeah.
And he was also someone who quote unquote does not have a runner's body, but he was like, I really think this would be good for your brain. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know that I have enough stamina. Drive or stamina to get to that place where it might be good for my brain. And he was like, well, here's what I think we should do. I think we should sign up for a half marathon, train for it, and then do it. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, honestly, in my whole life, I don't know that I've ever run longer than
the mile and a half.
Just the school mile.
For the school mile.
The 10-minute run. No, I was like, I don't know if I've ever run more than like 4 or 5 miles. And even then it was like a situation like yours where I was like, I feel like I should run. And then I would like be like, what happened?
Yeah.
Why did that happen? So I was like, you know what? I do like having a goal-oriented challenge.
Hmm.
So as long as like there's a plan laid out for me, I don't have to make the plan. I just have to follow it. Yeah, let's give it a try.
So it was really the marathon goal aspect that like hooked you in.
Yeah, I mean, I'd run like some 5Ks, but I'd never
Okay.
done any like long distance at all. And I honestly didn't know. I was like, I don't know if my body will like that.
Right.
I have no idea. I could be like after a certain point and just like, nope,
You
you're
just hear
down.
you hear the horror stories of like bloody nipples,
Sure,
poopy
sure.
pants, like
Just
all the nothing.
nothing immediately pleasant kind of drawing me
Hmm.
in that way.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to train for this thing. And I was lucky enough at that time to have a job that I had on site athletic trainers.
Oh.
So they were helping me condition. They were also, you know, doing like massage therapy and stuff to help me while I was training.
What privilege on the
It is.
Disney tour.
I know. So I was really lucky in that aspect, but I was like, and I was really slow and horrible and I was just like, you know what, just let it be what it is. Just
Right.
let it be what it is. Just continue to do the plan. And yeah, I did start to enjoy it in a way that I was not expecting. And then the race day rolled around. My friend booked something else, and so he ditched me. So
What a
I was
bitch.
like, guess I'm doing it by myself.
When clearly the whole thing was like, well, we'll do this together.
It was his whole mastermind plan. Yeah. So I did it and felt really proud of that
Sure.
experience. Was like, turns out if you train for something, you can do it.
Weird how that works out.
Weird.
And like, we
Weird.
don't, go to school to learn or like
No, nothing in
classes
society
for dance or whatever.
has taught us that is the order of things,
Uh-huh.
but you know.
Was there something specific that like really turned it for you?
I think that for me, physically, I discovered in that first marathon training that I like long distance.
Mm.
So the short, like my body doesn't feel warm until like probably mile 7 or 8.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm still doing this and I'm not dead. So just
Hmm.
like keep going. Yeah. So for me, like the runner's high kind of came from that aspect of it.
So it was all that lead up. You're like, hate this, hate this, hate
This
this.
is, yeah. I mean,
And
and
then you're
now,
like,
okay, I get it. And it's still the same way now. Like
okay.
the first 4 miles for me are absolutely just like so hard in a way that I would never have known if I hadn't actually signed up for a long distance.
Right, because you would have been like, well, I will stop running before
Right.
mile 4.
Yeah, so we're done here. So that kind of led me to get on this like, I'm going to keep doing half marathons kick.
Right.
And I was not ever interested in becoming fast because I am not a fast runner. Like my fastest mile I think that I've ever run in my life was like 8:45.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a fast runner.
Right.
So
So it's about the steadiness. It's about that like
it's about
all
like
that-
total turtle mentality of like do something for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And something interesting will happen.
that like singing or holding a conversation the whole time while
Mhm.
you can run is what you're aiming for.
Yeah, that's
Great.
for me what running long
Mhm.
distance is. So I think it was maybe my third or fourth half marathon, and I had one of the trainers that I was working with say, "Well, Alyssa, if you finish this race today," because I was like, I don't think I need to do a full marathon. I think
Mhm.
that's why. Why would I?
Who am I proving this to?
Yeah, like why would I do such a thing? And he just told me, he was like, after you finish your race on Saturday or Sunday, whatever day it was, he said, I want you to ask yourself, could I do that whole thing again right now? Because obviously a half marathon is half of a full length.
I mean, I don't know math too well, but yeah, I think that
You think
checks
that's how
out.
it goes?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're learning so much today.
So you're convincing me to maybe like math as well.
Nice. Not at all what I thought I would convince you
Yeah.
of. So I wake up the morning of that race and I'm feeling really good. Like I'm just ready for this thing. I have trained in a really like effective, good way. My nutrition was on point, and I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. And the race starts, and it starts pouring rain. I mean, pouring. And in Southern California, it like that happens
That,
like every other year.
yeah. There's one flash flood
There's
warning. We were
one.
all in school for it.
Yes. So it starts like torrential downpour.
Uh,
And I'm like, this is miserable. My shoes are not waterproof. I'm like slushing through this thing. And I'm like, you know what? Just get it done. Like, literally, just get it. Like, you're going to finish it.
right.
It's not going to be, it might not be pleasant, but just like finish the freaking thing. And because I wanted to be out of that weather so bad, I ran faster than I ever have in my life. So I cut like 15 minutes off of my time.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
You're like hydroplaning.
Yeah, I'm just like sliding through Long Beach, California. So I finished and I felt really good. And I was like, God damn it. I felt really good. That means I have to sign up for a full.
You have been hexed by these two individuals. The first one who like signs you up and books it,
And then leaves.
And then the second one who's like, can you do it again? Rain, rain on the plains. Like, what?
Yeah, I think so. I think these two witches really set me up for something. I'm grateful for them as much as it has taken up a lot of time in my life. So I decided to sign up for the LA Marathon and train for that. And I think that the thing that is the most interesting about particularly training for a race that long is that like you don't realize how truly time consuming it's going to be. Because even with a half marathon, like the longest run you're going to go on before that race in most training plans is like a 10-mile run.
Okay.
So you're, depending on how quickly you run, like you're going to be running for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
But with a full marathon training plan,
like a day.
Yeah. Sometimes I would just be like, okay, everybody, bye. And then go run for like 5 hours. So that was interesting. You learn a lot. I think that's why, for me, the training part of it all, because that's the bulk of the time, right? The race is
the race is nothing. The race is just the goal.
It's But for me, because I had done enough of the half marathons at that point, I knew that I wanted to stick with my training so that I could actually enjoy race day. Because so many people, humans are really dumb.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm not joking you when I say that like many people at the LA Marathon did not train at all for that race.
That's wild to me. That is not something you just jump into.
Well, 26.2 miles, they felt like they could. So
they're
that
like,
level,
I can drive that in like 20 minutes.
That level of delusion is, to be honest, something I aspire to, but I could never. So that's where you see like the crazy injuries where people like, 3 miles in, like pull something crazy and they're like hobbling through, or they can't finish or whatever it may be.
That woman jumped in the subway, got out of the subway, finished the race.
Right. So for me, the race is just like the cherry on top, right? Like you have to be able to have done all of the work prior. Or you should.
Yeah,
that would be my recommendation.
Ideally, healthily, for your safety.
For sure. So generally they tell you for your first full marathon, most first marathoners around 18 miles, they call it bonking. You bonk, which means you really feel really bad. That's the definition. Really, really
They tried to make it sound fun because you're going to hate it.
Yeah, but it's really something else. And it's not even because my body actually felt okay.
Okay.
It's this weird mental thing that happens where you're like, your body and your brain are trying to communicate. And they're like, why are you running this long? Why is it this many hours?
We have evolved past this point.
Yeah, you're not in danger.
This
Why
is
are
not
they
The
doing
Long Walk by Stephen King. Stop it.
You're not doing a walkabout in Aboriginal Australia. Like, you're fine. So, luckily, though, for me, I did not bonk
Okay.
until I think I was like 22 or 23.
It's because
But
you're
the
bad at math. Your body didn't.
yeah,
It
my
was
body
like,
was like,
ooh.
basic addition. um, and so the last couple of miles, I genuinely, I called my mom and I was like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, I
Please
don't
pick me up from school. I can't do
I
this.
don't know if I can do this. What have I done? I did do it. Like, I hobbled through and I had to like alternate walking and running at the
Sure.
end, which I really didn't want to do. But again,
You're not a runner.
I'm
Right.
I'm not built for this.
Right.
But something like really incredible happens at the end of finishing something like that,
Hmm.
where it's just this with everyone else that has completed it. It's this weird, like, human experience that you've all, like, I think this is really why I think that even if, like, your marathon is a 5K,
Right.
like, if whatever it is, like, there is something really cool about being around thousands of people who everyone has all these different, you know, lives,
Right.
and you're all doing this one really weird thing together that you have chosen to do.
That really the world does not need.
It doesn't need it. Like, I was always like, prior to running marathons and stuff, I was like, that is just like such a waste of time and money. Like, why are people doing that?
Hmm.
But I do understand it. Like, the running, your brain feels, at least for me,
Hmm.
it's the best my brain has ever felt running long
Interesting.
distance.
So that friend was right,
The friend was right. Yeah.
even though they disappeared into the shadows.
They absolutely ditched me, made me sign up for a marathon and then left. Um, so I think the reason, and it's a weird thing to like want people that I care about to experience, because it's like, here, try, do this really hard thing. I think you'll like it.
It's definitely not a cult. I
I
promise.
promise you it's a totally normal thing. It is culty like everything
Yeah.
else. But
Everything.
yeah, there's something like really, I think that is the biggest thing. And also, not to be like a Brené Brown about anything,
Right.
but like that's just not my flavor.
Mm-mm.
But but there is like some really, it's like really primal. That's, I guess, the best way
Okay.
to describe it.
Sure.
Like, it makes me, like, on days that I have like a really good run where I just feel like my body is doing this like repetitive motion. It's the same thing. My cadence is there. If I'm listening to music or if I'm listening to a podcast or whatever, that just the actual motion of doing something that, not so much now, but like our ancestors did
Hmm.
for survival purposes.
Right.
Like,
When there
ran
was a
around.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah, ran from things, ran from location to location. Yeah, there's something really that feels like you can, if you let yourself, like, tap into a part of our
Yeah. Like connect
shared
across the
experience.
ages.
Yeah, like, it
Feel.
feels like, and it's challenging because there's, doctors and everyone's like, don't run, it's so bad for your
Right.
joints. It's so like, we're not meant to do it.
Your
Like,
knees will
like, yeah,
explode.
you're not going to be well if you do this. And of course, like, that might be true for
Mm.
some people, for sure. Yeah, I think that is what specifically like, signing up for a race, training and doing it has taught me about a deeper part of myself that I wasn't sure was even in there.
Yeah. For someone that maybe hates cardio
Mhm.
and, has never been a runner except for
Yeah.
maybe annually,
Yeah.
how
Except
would
for
you,
a casual 4 a.m. run.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
what would you suggest as like a way to get to that place? I'm not saying a marathon,
Sure.
but that place of like that half marathon goodness that you like still felt like accomplished, but not,
Yeah. Not
yeah.
like trashed.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, there's so many amazing training plans
Uh-huh.
and ways for you to like do that. I think that the very first app that I used was called like Couch to Half Marathon.
Oh, okay.
So it was like made for someone who like had not ever run that distance before.
Hmm.
And they have different distance. They have like a couch to 5K, they
Oh,
have a couch
nice.
to
Okay.
10K.
That's
They have and
doable.
it's also they those training plans, I can't advocate for them enough because they start out so slow, and it's so slow in a way that it kind of makes you feel like I'm not even doing anything, like I'm not
Yeah.
even
You're like, I'm a
moving my
baby.
body. You're like, what is this? Because it's a lot of like, especially at the beginning, you walk for 5 minutes and then you run for like 30 seconds. And then
Mm.
you walk for 5 minutes and you run for 30 seconds. And that's like the first week of the training plan. And then it gets you up to like running for a minute straight and then walking for 4. So it's like, and it, as much as something like that, I mean, maybe it won't feel, for me, I was like, oh, this is annoying. Like, why can't I just be running right away? Which I think is also a lesson for me because I'm like, you can't do that yet.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, I think my instinct is similar to yours, and then I'm like, but I mean, I could run.
I can do it. So
So why
yeah,
am I not just doing it? And it's like,
yeah,
because you can't run. You're an
because
idiot.
you can't do that. But with like slowly introducing movement to your body in a way that's like it's pretty gentle because you're
Right.
not just out the gate being like run as fast as you can, big idiot. Um,
Yeah, that's my vibe for sure. I just want to
yeah,
be berated
just
by a
yeah, I just want to be bullied by
sergeant or
some
whatever. That's for
firefighter.
some people, okay? Some people
Some
get
people
off
like
on
that.
that.
They like that boot camp mentality. That's not for me.
Not for me at all.
Not for me. I'll cry.
I
So,
will. I'll either cry or get like indignant.
like, or what?
What are you gonna do, Charles?
Yeah, for sure.
Denise.
Denise is sergeant leader.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't go against Denise, but Charles, sure.
No, Denise could absolutely kick the shit out of us.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
so yeah, this kind of like slow, it feels slow, but it's a wise introduction to any type of new movement in your body.
Yeah.
Um, and then if you trust that and you trust the process, which is another thing too, there are so many like annoying life lessons in
So,
it.
so really what you're saying too is running has not only just like affected the running of you, it's
Hmm.
like the pushing against every
Hmm.
wall and button you have of like, I just want to do it.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
want to get there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like this lesson in like you have to follow the training plan, and if you don't, it's going to be difficult for you for A B C D
Right.
E F G. But and there have definitely been times like I've had some really horrible runs too where I'm just like this is why am I doing this? I the worst one that I ever had, it was it was a half marathon race. And I had not trained in a way that I should have. But I'd run so many half
You're like,
marathons at
I
that
got
point,
this.
and I'd run like I think 2 or 3 fulls at that point. So I was like, it's not a big deal. It's not going to be pretty, but like it'll be fine. The whole sequence of events in the morning this is another friend. But he
Alyssa, I need to get you new friends.
that's what you've learned.
This is why you're trying to convince me to be a runner because you're like, I need
No.
friends that aren't going to abandon me to the whims of the gods of running.
No. So this other friend, he didn't abandon me, but like
Okay.
I should have met him there because he's chronically late and stresses me out. So
Don't get me
I didn't
started.
go. And I relied on him to pick me up in the morning, even though I like warned him 1,001 times, like there's going to be street closures because of this
It's a race.
And I get a text in the morning. Oh my God, like all the streets are closed. I was like, anyways, we did finally get there, but because we were so late, we couldn't get in he's a faster runner than I am,
Mm-hmm.
but we couldn't get in our correct like starting place. So we were way in the back, which meant that the start of the experience was just going to be a lot of like weaving in and out of people
Yeah.
because it was going to be people that are like walking. for a portion.
Right. And then you just look like a dick because you're like, I'm a
Yes.
running by all these
I'm like,
slow walkers.
Sorry, he made me late. Like, but the whole like morning, I did like my normal like oatmeal and stuff that I eat before. I did all my normal stuff, but the stress level of being late and not getting to go to the bathroom before the run and being in the wrong spot it made me so stressed out that at I think it was mile 3, it was the first time that I threw up. I got sick.
I mean, that, you know what? That's a pretty good record of marathon and half marathons of not throwing up. So
you're right.
You know, give yourself some grace there.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
But as a person who also hates throwing up, no thanks.
No, and in front of like so many people where you just have to like go off to the side and like hope you don't get it in a spot where people are gonna slip and die.
And then all those walkers are like, wow, the lie about the friend.
So that was like the first time I got sick, and I was like, that was weird. And I still wasn't like correlating it to my like stress level.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe I just like, I don't know. I know I didn't start the way that I normally start, but everything's going to be fine. And then about every mile and a half or 2 miles for the remainder of that race, I threw up again.
Oh my gosh.
So that was tough.
Yeah, sure.
Tough. But I did learn something, and that is to not count on that friend in that way. Like I should have just been like, I'll meet you there. We'll have like a little kiki before the run, and then, you know, beers at the finish line. So,
but that, and also that you have to get into a proper mental state in addition to that physical state.
So much of it is mental. It really is, even for a short distance, because you have to do the thing where you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to ask my body to do for the next however minutes or hours.
Were you, this is totally off subject, but you'll understand why. Were you did you go to Wicked with me and our 2 friends, Brianna and Shannon, where where Brianna forgot the tickets and we had to drive back?
Yes.
Okay, great. Because your whole story of like, and I was late and I hate that and it was stressful. And I was like, immediately my mind like whooshed back to the car of us driving from.
That was very stressful, from Orange County to Los Angeles.
It was like Yorba Linda. Oh my God. To Los Angeles, to the Pantages. And we were all like furious.
But we somehow made it, right?
I
remember making it, or were we a little late?
We were a little late. We missed the opening, but we were there like because our friend Shannon took defensive driving and we were going on side streets at about 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where the I don't like to be late.
Maybe that's where it stems from.
Partially, yeah.
Yeah, could be, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate being late. I really hate it. So yeah, I guess that is why I think that you should run. Maybe I should just say run, not necessarily run a marathon.
I'm getting there. I feel like half marathon, that sounds wild, but it doesn't sound unbelievable.
It's not
with the process.
No, it's not impossible. No.
And what I did want to ask though is, so you listen to podcasts, you listen to music. Do you have a preference over the two? Or is it like a vibe of the day kind of thing? Because I do both. I like to be distracted because I have lots of thoughts going on in my head all the time.
Yes.
So where do you fall on that?
For me, for short runs, because they are more difficult for me. And for a half marathon, like just to give you an idea of what like a typical week looks like.
Okay.
You're going to have like anywhere from 3 or 4 slow short runs. So you're going to have like 3 or 4 days of 3 to 5 miles.
Okay.
Each day. And those are killer for me because I don't feel, I'm not warm. Like I'm like, this is not why.
Right. You haven't hit your thing.
I don't like this. Yeah. I haven't hit my like weird threshold that for some reason my body likes. So for the short runs, I tend to do like music, and I will pick like a higher BPM of the music to just kind of like
key into,
just to feel that music in my body and do that. For longer runs, I like the more horrifying true crime podcasts, the better. To
really get you going.
To really make me feel like I'm running.
The killer is behind you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's also been training for a half marathon.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so generally for the long ones so that I could just like zone out
Okay.
and let my body just still try to do that. Still try to do this movement. Yeah, I'm not a person sometimes I would say maybe every once in a blue moon I will do a run without anything just as like a meditation, and I will try
Okay.
to just focus on my breathing, or I'll do like a grateful list in my head where like every mile I hit, I need to like say I'm grateful for something else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the podcast and the music really do help because it
Mm-hmm.
allows you to. And there's like Spotify playlists
For running, yeah.
that are like running at 180 BPM.
Okay.
And then it's like, and you can get specific with genre and like all
Yeah.
that stuff.
The last question I would have,
Mm-hmm.
because I live in the city, so like it depends where I'm going to be running.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that you do better running out and about, or is it a gym thing? Yeah, I figured.
I do, because on the treadmill, I'll do the treadmill if I absolutely have to, like if it's just like shit weather outside.
Right.
But for me, looking at other things, like there's enough like kind of stimulation going on there.
That's what I assumed.
That feels better to me. Yeah, so out and about if I can, like at the park, or even if there's like a specific like stretch of street that you're like, this is pretty and I can like run back and forth on this. Like there have been plenty of people, like I think there was some guy who did like a marathon around his like favorite block.
Oh wow.
In New York, and just ran laps around that block over and over and over again until he hit 26.2.
Wow.
Humans are weird.
Humans are very weird. And perhaps I would say lazy, but let's maybe not be in this regard. Shockingly, it's the way you were like, yeah, I hate it, that more convinced me. I think if you would come in like really hard on like, and running saved my life, then I think I would have been like,
okay, get out of here, running Pollyanna.
Yeah, but because it was very, very like, yeah, and I threw up and I hated this. And
yeah, no, I was very skeptical. And there still are a lot of times where I'm just like, this is so hard and why am I doing this?
Yeah, I fully appreciate that than the people that are like, it's great and everyone should run. So why aren't
that
you?
just feels very like, holier than thou. Like,
yeah, not
it's just not real either. Like, it's literally not real.
And I think in a lot of ways it reminds me of where we grew up, where it's like, that's the feeling where they're like, I guess you don't run. Okay. Whereas in New York, it's like, yeah, fucking run if you want to.
Yeah. If you feel like it, sure.
So
relax. Everyone needs to relax.
I think that, kind of the swing, whether you intended that or not, it clicked into it for me, I think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Great. Well, great.
Where can our listeners find more about you? Follow your running journey.
I do have a running account on Instagram. I haven't really been posting on it too much.
You got other things going on.
I do. I'm a little busy. I know. I met up with a friend for coffee today, and he was like, "Do you have a race coming up?" And I was like, "I don't. I haven't had the time or capacity to devote time, but I have been trying to just like, especially this last week where the weather has been so gorgeous, just to like get my body outside and move around. And if it feels good to like run for a little while and walk for a little while, that's cool. To just like, it's more than anything, it's just about like clearing my head. So yeah. So anyways, the long answer to that, I have an Instagram.
You have an Instagram.
You can look at it if you want. The running account is the Java Jogger. It's coffee and running. Or you can just go to my regular Instagram, because I do post things about that stuff. Sometimes it's Alyssa M as in monkey Simmons. That's it.
And you have a podcast as well, don't you?
I do, yeah. Inside the Tauntaun. We talk about Marvel, Star Wars, anything and everything under the nerdy umbrella.
Perfect. Go take a listen. Don't forget also to review this podcast. That weirdly helps. It's so dumb that's
it's
still
so annoying, but it helps.
I know. I hate saying it. I've done this for 6 years, and I was in charge of doing all the like and it's weird doing it by myself. But yeah, do that. Tell your friends. Everyone, if you're into running and you're like, this podcast will help get my friend, and then I can ditch them.
Yeah.
Recommend this episode. Tell them to listen to it.
It's the one for you.
Yeah.
That's so specific.
Very. You know what? There's someone out there that's exactly going to hit, and that'll be the time I get on Vulture. So
you know what? Let's do it.
I have to shoot my shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you, Alyssa, again for being on.
Thanks for having me.
This was lovely. Join us next time as we once again prove that my opinion is always correct about everything all the time.